Well, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and use this one pie crust that I've got. I've let it sit out here for about 15 minutes to warm up a little bit because it gets too cold, but it's just a great value pie crust. I don't know how many I'll be able to make with this one crust, but we'll find out. I just hope it doesn't all stick together. Oh, I need to get a little bit of flour. And that's just to put a little bit on my board here. I'm not sure how many I'll get out of this. I'm hoping I'll get at least 8 or 9 little turnovers. I'm not sure. I may have to make some more dough. But I wanted to use up this pie crust. And it's still a little bit cold. I got it unrolled, so then it should warm up a little bit faster. Because I don't want it so cold, because it's not going to do right if I have it too cold. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how many I'm going to get out of this. I'm hoping about 8. Because we're just going to use the little bit of fruit pie filling that we had left from our little miniature pies. And what I'm going to do is just kind of, because these have little sections cut out of the apple, so I'm just going to kind of chop them up a little. You know what? I'm going to get my chopper. And I'm just going to chop it up a little. Because I don't want that big a piece in my little turnovers. May have to use a knife. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to chop up the little sections. Make them a little smaller because you only put about a half a teaspoon in each turnover. So I don't want great big humps in there. I think that might do it. Yeah, I want to get this softened so I can work with it. I don't want it to crack and break apart. And may need to just dab a little water on it because it seems a little dry to me. I want a little bit more moist than what it is. If it was fresh rolled dough, made dough, it wouldn't be this dry. I don't like the way that is right there. We're going to preheat our oven to 400 while we're working on our little turnovers. I'm going to go ahead and, you can put parchment paper in your pan. I'm just going to use aluminum foil. I'm going to spray some olive oil so the little turnovers don't stick to the aluminum foil. Parchment paper would work a lot better. Now, let's see. I'm not sure how to go about cutting this since it's not a square. Oh, I'm almost afraid to start cutting because I'm not sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now see, this dough is coming apart. Too dry. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe we can get 7 out of them. And it said to put about a half a teaspoon. Let's see if I can get my measuring spoons. Do we have a half a teaspoon? A half a tablespoon. Half a teaspoon. 1 tablespoon. That's 1/4 of a teaspoon. So 1/2 of a that's half of a teaspoon. Where's my tablespoon at? Well, it's just got a tablespoon. And it says about a half a tablespoon. You know, half a tablespoon is not much. You can't put too much because then it'll come out your I'm not sure how I'm going to fold that, but I'll think of something. Well, I think that's about all. And I can make that many more if I make me some more dough. Let's see. I've already got my edges kind of damp. Not real sure how I'm going to do these. Get it turned this way. There's always a way to do it, somehow. Whoops. I don't want my filling coming out. And we're just going to take the fork and crimp each one, and that seals it on your open edges. You don't do that on the fold. That turned out kind of neat. How's that for a fruit turnover, y'all? And we're just going to put them in our pan. That's not a true square, so it's not going to be cooperating too good with me. But you know what? It don't have to be, does it? I can just fold it this way. Pinch the corners. I mean the open sides, which I've got 3 this time instead of 2. And just put it in my pan. There's always more ways to skin a cat, you know? And there's another one. I may have to get a bigger pan. See what I was afraid of, that dough coming apart like that. I don't like the way that dough did. I really don't. But we'll get it fixed. We patched it up a little bit. Maybe that'll keep the filling from coming out. I mean, that's more of a perfect square right there. And that is the way they're supposed to come out. How's that for a turnover, y'all? A mini turnover. I'm going to put that on the bottom, I think. And come over with it like this. Now, you can make your own puff pastry and not do it with a pie crust pastry. It's just however you want to do it. And I've got to situate these so I can get them in here. You know what? I'm going to have to get a bigger pan. Let's see what kind of pan I can get. And let me get my foil. You can tell I did not plan this ahead of time. I think I used all my parchment paper. That's why I'm just using the aluminum foil. They'll have so much more room here. Hoping I can get them all in here. This, I don't know. Y'all still with me? Aren't we having fun? You can tell I didn't plan to do this. It just worked out that way. I realized I had that other pie crust in there, and I had a little bit of that mixture left with the fruit filling, but I really need me some more pie crust. Because these are not puff pastries, it's just a regular pie crust. But, you know, it'll work just as well. It should do the trick. How is that? Give them a little bit of room. And now we're going to do us an egg. We're just going to beat up the egg. I mean, I can make twice that many because I've got more there, so. If I quit throwing my egg out, egg all over the counter. But this gives you an idea of how to do them. I put each one in my pan here. And we're just gonna put some egg wash. I beat one egg, and I'm just gonna take this and just coat it good with my egg. If I'd have had one more pie crust, I could have made that many more. And I may go ahead and do that. No, I think I got another idea for the rest of that little bit of pie and fruit pie filling. Now what we're going to do is take some sugar. And it said to use coarse sugar, but this is all I've got is just regular white granulated sugar, so that's what I'm going to use. It's not powdered sugar, but it's granulated white sugar. And that egg mixture will hold it right there. There, that's plenty sugar. And we're going to put this in a 400 degrees heated oven for 20 minutes. And when they're done, I will bring you back. Y'all, I mixed together about a half a cup of flours, and I use self-rising flour. And I put in 3 or 4 tablespoons, or about 2 to 3 tablespoons of cold water. I put in, well, first of all, I put half a cup of flour in a bowl. I put about 1/3 of a tablespoon or half tablespoon of shortening. That can be lard, Crisco, whatever you've got available. I used Crisco. And then I added my water. And I've made me some more dough. Because I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of the I'm going to go ahead and make the rest of the turnovers, the little mini turnovers. And my alarm went off. Go ahead and turn that off to get my little pastries out. But there they are. There's the first batch of the little mini fruit turnovers. Now you can use apple pie filling, you can use cherry, any of it you want to use. I just got to knead this a little bit because I didn't do that before. Now I'm going to roll it out. Because like I said, I'm going to go ahead and use the rest of that little bit of pie filling that I had. Just as well, you know, I don't really know of anything else I would do with it except for maybe put it in oatmeal or something. And I may not have made enough. I don't think I did. I did half a recipe. I should have done the whole recipe. But I wanted to show you too how versatile this is. I mean, if you don't have the pie dough, you know, the pie shell or the dough already made, you can make your own. I'm just kind of going crazy with this a little bit. I got a few more here. You know me, I don't like to waste anything, but it shows you too that if you don't have a pie crust, get you a cup of flour. If you don't have self-rising flour, just use all-purpose. Just remember to add your salt and your baking powder. I use self-rising, so I don't have to use that. There, and I still got more. I could have made more. I mean, really, I should have. But I wasn't sure I was going to need all of it quite, so I'm going to pull this out a little bit. And dough is very forgiving. I mean, if it's not quite the right shape, you can always fold it like that. You can fold it like this. You can fold it like that. And make you a little square one. Just pinch the corners. Just like that, and you can then go around it a little bit and make it look basically like your other turnover. I should have cut that a little bit different, but I didn't. Let's do it this way. Oops, I forgot to wet that a little. It seals a lot better if you wet your dough around the edge. Just a little bit. So yeah, if you want to make your own puff pastry, just use a cup of flour. If you, like I said, if you're using all-purpose flour, don't forget your salt and your baking powder. Use about a tablespoon of lard, Crisco you know, whatever you have available. But you would probably need to double that, because that's enough for one pie crust. And you see that I was basically needing 2 pie crusts for this. I'm going to just do this one this way. You can do any shapes you want. Doesn't have to be a triangle. I think I may have gotten a little bit too much in here for this one. I don't want them to spill all out of the little turnover. But there's a lot of different ways you can fold them. You don't have to necessarily, see, this wasn't quite shaped the way I wanted it. So I'm just going to moisten the edges. And I'm just going to fold it over this way. And fold this one over this way. Crimp the edges with the fork. Put it in my pan. Pastry is like Play-Doh. It's very forgiving. Yeah, so if you want to make these, make your own pie crust, just, and I didn't oil those, but it'll be all right. I'm going to put our egg mixture on the top. And see, that was just as good as making, you know, using a ready-made pie crust. I just didn't make enough. I should have did the whole cup of flour instead of half a cup. But I didn't think I was going to have enough of the fruit mixture for the whole cup, but I would have. And then I'm going to do just like I did before. I'm going to put my sugar. And I love this kind of crust on my pies, you know, when you make a two crust pie. I love to put the egg wash on top. And then sprinkle it with sugar. It makes the best crust. And these are going to be good too. And then I'm simply going to put these back in the oven and cook them for 20 minutes on 400 degrees. See if I can get a plate. Let's see. Yeah, that's cooled down a little. Yeah, use parchment paper if you can, because they do stick a little bit. I put a lot of egg on them too, so that's one thing. That egg is what's making them stick. But those are good little pastries right there, y'all. Yeah, just watch with your egg mixture. Don't put quite as much on them as I did, because that's what's making it stick to the pan or to the foil. Is the egg, it's not the turnover itself. But there you go. There's my little puff pastry. Apple turnovers. Or fruit turnovers is what it is. But it's basically apple. And I don't like that lighting. How do those look, y'all? Don't they look good? And I got to set my timer for these other ones over here. I don't want them to stay in there too long. Two. Y'all, I'm just getting this timer set. There. But we got to try one of these. Get this thing down just a tiny bit. Look at that. The bottom is nice and golden brown. The top is. And I've got to take a bite. I forgot to give y'all the first bite, y'all. Take a bite of my fruit turnover. It's basically an apple turnover. And this is the already made pie crust. So I want to compare it to the ones I'm making. That's apple pie all day there, y'all. Apple turnovers. Take another bite. That's good, y'all. Now, what I'm getting ready to do is make me another half a cup of flour to make me some more of these to finish out my little filling over there. I gotta get my flour though. And I can probably use that to put half of them in. There, half a cup. Get a little bit out to mix. Make sure I have enough to put on there. Gotta check on those. Smell like they're getting awfully hot in there. Oh, they're doing good. But now I'm going to add just a little bit. I have to get my pastry cutter back out of there. Spoon. Now that's a half a cup of flour to about, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of a tablespoon of Crisco or lard, whatever you have available. I'm going to blend that in. I don't have to add salt or anything because I don't think I do. Let me see. And this I might better add a little bit of salt. I don't want to use that salt though. I don't want to use cracked salt. What did I do with my salt? Well, I'll use some of this. I can just round it up. That should be plenty. These little pastry things are great, y'all. One of my subscribers sent me these, and they work fantastic. Now I got to get my water. You want cold water. Where's my measuring spoons? Over here. There's 1, 2, 3. Just make sure it's cold water. I am going to put just a little bit more, not much, about a half a tablespoon more in there of water. Comes out a little crumbly, but after you work it a little, it's not so crumbly. Well, it's still a little bit. I don't like it quite that crumbly. And you'll have to work with it and see how it suits you when you do it. Let's come over here to our board. And I'm just going to work my dough a little bit. This is the way I knead this little bit of dough. And my rolling pin is a little bit big for my area, but that's okay. You want to roll it out to about 1/8 of an inch, because it doesn't have to be thick. Sometimes I get mine too thick. guess that's about it. Turn that off. Oh, come here. And there's my other ones. And we're going to go ahead and make these. And put them in there while I've got everything hot. Oh, don't want the dough, the pastry filling, the pie filling. I want the water. But this is to show you, if you run into the problem if you got too much filling, not enough pastry dough, just make yourself a little bit. I'm not sure if that's going to be big enough. We'll try it. You can pull it out a little. We'll work with it. I didn't want that. I want water. Y'all, quit letting me put my fingers down in my pie filling. Y'all are not watching what I'm doing here. You should say, don't put your fingers in the pie filling. Put it in the water. And I think maybe we'll have enough to do this. Because you put very little filling in your little turnovers. And when they're mini ones, you do. Now, if they're regular size ones, yeah, you'd put a lot, but these little mini ones, you don't want to put a whole lot. Now, let's get these folded. And like I said, pastry is a little forgiving. You can stretch it a little, pull it out a little. Good, I can always go ahead and use that one since I had it already greased up from before. But y'all, you see how I do. I mean, I figured I'd make one pie crust. That'd probably be enough to take care of what pie filling I had. But you could see it wasn't. even if they don't come out perfectly square, to turn them over, you know, you can always do what I'm just doing. Give them a new shape. Like I said, you don't even have to stick with the triangle. You can do one like this. Make it into like a square or oblong one. Actually, sometimes that's the easiest one to make right there. Almost like a ravioli. Or when it doesn't come out shaped right and you're using a little bit of your scraps, you can just fold it over basically any way you want to fold it over. Wet your dough so it'll stick, and just fold it right over. Pinch your corners. And then just go around it and make it look good. And there you go. Let me get my hands cleaned off so I can use the sugar and the egg wash. I think I've just about got enough egg wash left to do those last 6. But I like showing you, you know, the different options you have. The first one was the pre-made pie crust, which turned out great. Second one was the pie crust that I made. And this is going to be the one that I made. And if you wanted to, you could add cinnamon sugar to the top, not just plain sugar if you wanted. I mean, the cinnamon, you know, already is in your fruit turnover or your apple, your filling. But you could certainly put more in your sugar, put cinnamon sugar to the top of them instead of plain sugar. It's just up to you. There's a lot of different variations you could go with this. I like a lot of the egg wash on there, and that's why they were sticking to the pan. I think they come out with the best color with more egg wash. Now, where's our sugar? Now we're going to put that in there for another 20 minutes. Flour off of here. See, these didn't stick quite as bad because I didn't put as much egg on them. See how they come out on the bottom? Perfect. Now, grant you, they don't turn out exactly the way these do that you get at McDonald's and places like that, because I honestly think they fry those. I don't think they bake them. I'd rather fry them myself. Oops, I better set my clock, hadn't I? Y'all have to bear with me. Let's see, 3. Three. $3:19, that should be 19 minutes, and my alarm will go off. And we'll see how the second batch turns out. See if it turned out halfway as good as the first ones did. But I'm going to be over here cleaning up my mess while y'all watch me and we wait on the timer to go off. Sprayed flour all over my scissors. But you got in on the cleanup, some of the cleanup and the cooking and the making part. I mean, making from scratch, because we did that one last batch, well, the 2 last batches we made with homemade pastry dough. I know what it was. We made, no, that's not. We put the egg wash on all of them. I don't know why I was thinking we were going to put egg wash on part of them. Yeah, I just lock that right up there. And you can tell my pans have been well used. My pots and pans have a lot of history. They are well seasoned. But I don't think you'll ever go in a kitchen where anybody does very much cooking and their pans don't end up looking like mine. You can't keep them looking like new. Not when you use them all the time. But I wanted to show you, because I don't think I showed it to you real good in this video, what I use to blend my pastry, my flour. This little thing right here. One of my subscribers sent me 2 of these, and for the life of me, I didn't even know what they were when I first got them. And she sent me a message and she said, those are pastry cutters. That's what you mix your flour with your lard and your water or your milk and all that. It makes it so much easier, and it does. It really does. So y'all get you one of them. I don't know where she got it, where she found it to buy it, but it is a neat thing to have. Got flour and breadcrumbs and stuff all over at the top of my stove. But you know, hey, you do that when you cook very much. That's why I'm always wiping it off. Some people said they didn't like my excess cleaning while I'm cooking. But hey, I like a clean work area. If I'm cooking, I want my area clean. I don't want it cluttered up with a bunch of stuff. Now the trick is to get this, well, I'll do it later. I was going to say the trick is to get my flour in my jar that I keep it in. I'll put it down in that dish pan. I would say there's got to be a trick to this. Y'all, I'm just pouring my my flour in my jar over here. I set it down in this little dish pan so So if the flour went anywhere, it would go in the pan and not all over the floor and all over the table. Still gonna do it if I'm not careful. But that's a lot easier than it would have been if I had to put it in that dish pan. I've got beautiful canister sets, but I found keeping my flour in this jar is the best. The way the ants are around here, it keeps my flour ant free. Where's my lid? What did I do with my lid? Y'all, did you take my lid? There it is. It was hiding from me under the dish pan. But that jar holds a 5-pound bag of flour, and it keeps it bug free. So hey, that's what I'm dealing with. I don't worry about ants getting in my flour. I do my brown sugar the same way. If I don't have any room in the refrigerator to I put it in a jar that's airtight and put it in the cabinet. So, and I'm still cleaning up, y'all. I mean, I stay so busy in the garden all the time. I don't have time just to spend all day cleaning house or doing laundry. I did laundry, a load of laundry this morning. It's out on my line drying right now. I did a load yesterday. Plus I did videos yesterday. I've done videos this morning. I'm doing videos now. So, yeah. I stay pretty busy, y'all. But I know it's a long video, but I'm hoping this video shows you, don't worry if you run out of something. If you got a little bit of flour, make your own pie dough. In the best scenario, I would have had a brand new package of pie dough. It would have had 2 pie doughs in it, and I'd have had plenty. But the way it was, I only had 1 pie dough, and then I only made a half a batch the second time, and it only used half of my pie filling. So then I had to turn around and make another half a batch. So you live and learn, you know. But I'm just showing you, everything you do in cooking doesn't work out 100% the way they say it does. You can't go exactly by a recipe and expect it to turn out 100% correct, because sometimes it doesn't. You just go through trial and error and hope for the best. I thought I'd try this bread flour. It's got a good recipe for Italian bread here. But evidently it's already got baking powder in it because it doesn't call for it. So I did put a little bit of salt in my flour, but I didn't add baking powder. But it doesn't call for it, so I did good, y'all. I did good. We only got 5 minutes, so yeah, I mean, And see, that wasn't a perfectly triangle. See how I had to do the dough on the top? It's just folded over and pushed down, and I just made sure it was wet underneath it, so when it hit the other dough, it stuck, and it did not have your pie filling oozing out of it. And there's the one we made, the oblong one. Turned out pretty, I think. And it's not the brownest in the world. I probably could have left it in there just a little bit longer, but it's brown enough. And in the perfect world, you get a perfect triangle. But hey, we don't live in a perfect world. Make your own shapes. Don't be afraid to make your own shapes with it. Go crazy with it. Have fun. Pretend your pastry is Play-Doh and have a good time baking. That's what I do. That's why I guess I enjoy baking, is because I have fun with it. It doesn't bother me that they all didn't turn out as triangles the way the recipe called for. But I improvised. I made my own shapes, and that's just as good. Just as good. 3 minutes and counting, y'all. I really don't want to stop the camera for just 3 minutes, so yeah, leave me some comments about this. Maybe you've had an experience with making turnovers like this, and because this is the first time I've made mini turnovers. I've made bigger turnovers, but not the little ones, the tiny ones, and I thought it would be really neat just to make the mini turnovers. So that's what I did. Putting some of my stuff up as I go, so I don't have a completely dirty kitchen. They're getting brown. Probably if I leave the door shut, they couldn't do a lot better. Y'all, I want to eat another one. How about you? I think I want to eat this one that's all misshaped. No, we'll eat this one. We'll eat the perfect triangle. Y'all take a bite. Take a bite of my apple turnover. It's crunchy and good. Mmm. I think they could have had a little bit more filling put in there, but I put what they said. If I'd have put too much in there, it would have been oozing out everywhere. But you can see in there, you can see the filling down in the center where I bit it. See it even better now. Mmm, that's good. Y'all take a bite. Take another bite, y'all. Mmm. I need a cup of coffee. I won't be eating any dinner tonight because I'm eating this. Well, the alarm went off, but they're not brown as I want them yet. These would be so good for brunch in the morning, or even breakfast with a cup of coffee. I want them a little bit browner than that. Turn it up a little bit. Yeah, I might keep this recipe for rustic Italian bread and try it and see how it works. And then they got a savory Greek focaccia, Focaccia. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. But that's like, you know, that's a bread too, just like the Italian bread. But I might try that Italian bread. You figure if it's put on the bread flour bag, it's got to be a good recipe, because they don't want to make their bread look bad and put a recipe that doesn't turn out real good. So I'm probably going to cut those out and save them. In fact, I am right now. And I might venture to try it one of these days. I could have cut a little bit straighter, but that's okay. I got flour all over my belly. On that rustic Italian bread, you use 3 to 3.5 cups of the flour, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 ounce of dry yeast, 1 cup warm water, 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, non-stick cooking spray, 1 tablespoon of cornmeal, and 1 egg white beaten. Huh. That's kind of neat. They put cornmeal in the flour to make the Italian bread. I've got to try that. So we may have another video and do an Italian bread by that. Needs to stay in there just a few minutes longer. One end is really good and brown and the other end is not. But it'll only take another minute or so. Y'all don't mind hanging out with me till then, do you? Get you a cup of coffee and imagine you're sitting here with me and you're waiting on a fruit turnover to eat with your cup of coffee that you just got. I hate doing long videos, but you know, I have a lot of fun doing them. Yeah, I think if I make them again, I'm going to put just a little bit more of the pie filling inside each one, because I don't think 1/2 tablespoon was enough. You have to be careful and not get too much, because it will come out. It'll split open and it'll come all out and make a mess, but I think you still could put a little bit more than just 1/2 tablespoon. So I had opened 1 can of fruit pie filling, and I made, because I did these in the other video, I did 3 individual fruit pie desserts with 1/2 the can, or a little over 1/2 the can. And then I'm making these turnovers with the rest of it. That was just 1 can of fruit pie filling, or apple pie filling. There, I think those are brown enough. see if I can get them up. Yeah, see, I didn't get so much egg wash on these, so they're not sticking. Now this one's going to stick because, yeah, it stuck a little bit because I did have that egg wash right there. See, these come up real good. So, can you tell the difference? Can you tell the difference between... Wipe this off. Nothing on it. Can you actually tell the difference? Let me move some of these over here so I can get some that were made. Put some of these in the center. Like this one is from the ready-made pie crust. This one is from the pie crust. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. That one is from the pie crust that I made from scratch. So I don't think you can really tell a difference myself. Get over here and take a good look at it. Can you tell any difference between that pastry and this pastry? One's a little bit browner than the other, but that's the pastry I made. This is the pastry. No, this is the pastry I made right there. This is cold, and this is the one that came from the pie crust, ready-made pie crust. Only I got a little bit more egg wash on this one than I did that one. And this was the one that I made the pie crust on. So, there's no difference, y'all. Only I browned some of them a little bit more than I did the others. But other than that, they're the same thing. Except for this odd shaped one here. But with that, y'all, I'm going to let you go. Y'all have a blessed day. Try the recipe. I think you'll have fun with it. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye now.